So today I'd like to talk a little bit about an article I read at allinmag.com about why esports jersey sales or apparel has kind of lagged behind general esports popularity across the world. And what I want to focus on is a topic that the article mentioned, which is the lack of locality in esports, which is namely association with physical regions across the world. In other words, you think about Cloud9, a Fnatic, they don't have a tie into a city, a state, a country, a region, outside of maybe, hey, EU or the NA, which is vague at best. There isn't really a strong local base for their brands or their organizations, like you think of Manchester United or maybe even the New York Yankees, as the article alluded to. But bigger than just jersey sales or apparel sales, I think locality is important because it's part of sport. Locality gives you that sense of meaning, sense of lore, if you will, history. Like when you think of a certain city from which a team emanated or is based, you have a reference point for idealizing the team, and that's essentially what fans and supporters do. So it's an important psychological measure within sports. And I have three suggestions for addressing the lack of locality in esports. I'm just going to put out there. The first one is doing what the PGA Tour or the World Tennis Association does, and that's make a strong tie between individual events and locations. So when you think about Wimbledon, you know where that's happening every single year until the apocalypse, right? And you know where it's happened since its inception. Think of Augusta National, right, with the Masters in golf. So you have individual players from all parts of the world, similar to esports, but they're all brought together at an event where you can construct a mythology around that physical location. That's huge in sports. That's huge for growing a sport genre. The second thing I think can be done is explore the concept of franchising. Now, a franchise is kind of not a level above, but it's another form of an organization that would have some physical location. So maybe there's an opportunity to create different operating models for esports organizations that are tied to places. The third suggestion I would have is to embrace local presences across the globe. So whether those are viewing parties, the great thing about the esports community is that you don't have to be a certain place to get involved, to learn, to throw yourself into it. But that doesn't negate the need for, like I said, locality. And communities should be sprouting up to engage people or engage supporters, fans, people interested in the genre in physical places across the world. And far from jersey sales and apparel wear, which I think is a small part of the puzzle, it's a small piece of the pie in general, doing three things like that is really going to help drive further fan penetration, which I know esports is growing like gangbusters, but there's always room to expand. And I think as you move into more casual non-fans, the more outlets they have that do have locality or context for locality, the easier it is going to be for people to pick up and figure out that, hey, this is kind of cool. This is something that I might be interested in. So hopefully we'll see similar suggestions implemented, and in general, more growth towards tying down or tying the roots of esports to places across the globe where people can not just interact as flesh and blood human beings, but also create more real context within their own physical communities.